Hi, I'm Malak Fuad, and this is what I did next from A&T Media. Each month, I sit down with a new guest and take a deep dive into their lives' most pivotal moments. Today, I'm joined by Nouf Al Moneef, director of the Noor Riyadh Festival, who tells me about the impact of Saudi Vision 2030 and festivals like Noor Riyadh on the regional art scene.
The cultural exchanges, honestly, that is happening between international and local. There are a lot of even artists that came, they want to partner with local artists. There are artists that are telling me we're coming back to Saudi because we saw this amazing digital artist. He's young, he's Saudi, and we want to work with him. That's like beauty to my ears when I hear that.
Of course.
Honestly.
Nouf Al Moneef is an interior architect and the director of the Noor Riyadh Festival, which falls under the umbrella of the Riyadh Art Project. Noor Riyadh has now welcomed more than 3 million visitors and hosted artworks from hundreds of Saudi, regional, and international artists. Nouf also continues to help grow the conversation about art and design on social media, although she, like me, is not a fan of the word influencer. We both take a more organic and authentic approach to reaching our respective audiences. Nouf has garnered a huge following and has had an obvious impact on how the KSA is perceived, and she's a wonderful ambassador for culture, the arts, and her country as a whole. We're going to talk in so much depth, I think, later on about how exciting the changes that are happening in Saudi now. But tell me a little bit about your childhood. You are a 90s baby, is that right? Or a 2000 or a 2000 baby, I'm not sure.
This is a compliment. Thank you so much. I'm an 80s baby.
An 80s baby. Okay.
Yes. My childhood was a very great and calm childhood, honestly. I come from a very educated family. My father comes from a background of economics. He really wanted me to enter economics, but I didn't let him push me for that.
It's good you had your say, huh?
Yeah. For example, I'm the only girl from 3 siblings, and my father gave us the freedom to choose on what to do in the future. I used to travel a lot with my father. We used to go to Vienna because his work is over there. So he used to take me to museums, to the touristic stuff. Like
yes.
To museums, to galleries.
These things, they make such an impact when you're a young person. And
absolutely.
My parents used to do that with me, but I would go kicking and screaming, not wanting to go.
Me
But
too.
as an adult, you realize, thank God they did that, because now you understand what culture and art is, right?
Absolutely. So the travelings that I did in a young age with my father really opened up a lot of things in regards of seeing the world differently. After graduating my high school, I really even the way I dressed, it was differently. Like I dressed different. I used to. My father used to call it pompous. It's too much, and he used to say, "This is too much. Do not wear this. Do not wear that."
In what way, Nouf? In what way it was? What do you mean by too much?
Glittery and sparkly
girly.
and
Very girly.
Yeah, not too girly, but it was too much. It's too much flashy.
Okay. Yeah.
And he used to tell me, tone it down. No, do not wear this. But since at the young age, I really like to be creative with my room, with the house. I used to tell my mother, no, do not put the chair here, put it there, or do not put the painting here, put it there. I had a say in the house as well.
Yes.
So in Riyadh, we did not have, the universities did not have art subjects or art. They did not teach art or architecture.
Mm-hmm.
Or something related to art and architecture or design. The only year that Prince Sultan opened these doors for us on adding the subject of of interior design engineering. And I had the chance to study interior design in Prince Sultan University. Um, but at that time, I felt that it wasn't enough. We did
Hmm.
not have um, the opportunities in regards of, for example, the internship. I did not take my internship in Riyadh. I took it in Beirut.
Because at the time, Nouf, I mean, we're talking, of course, before the big awakening and the big opening. So
Way
a
before.
lot was still very closed off for women.
Yeah, this was back between 2005 and 2010.
Yeah. And everyone would travel to go and study and work abroad. And
Absolutely. And even we did not have that much of galleries, like, or for example, famous furniture stores, or we did not have that
hmm
here in
hmm
Saudi. Um, um, like, for example, uh, I used to travel to London. I want to go to Vitra or Roche Babois, or so it was
yes,
really like different. So
yes.
um, after graduating, actually before graduating, I did my internship in Beirut. I stayed in Beirut for approximately 6 months, and I worked on the projects of downtown. So the
Oh,
fact that, yeah, Solidaire downtown. So the
so
fact
that
that,
was when Solidaire was being built?
yes,
Oh, how
yes,
interesting. Okay.
before the internship, I used to go to courses, by the way. So I used to, when I started in Prince Sultan University, I used to go to my father and tell him, where are we traveling this year
Mm.
for summer? He's like, for example, London. I tell him, okay, search, design courses in London from this period to that period. So 2 years in a row,
Wow.
I
Yeah.
went to Marangoni, Institute to Marangoni, and I even took courses over there. So I really loved gaining knowledge.
And it's interesting that you would use your time away to research, to do these courses. A lot of
Yes,
people who
yes,
were young
absolutely.
are young would just look forward to a vacation and that's
To
it.
vacation
Yeah,
party. And
exactly. Shopping, having fun.
no, I really liked having courses. And by the way, until now, like searching courses in Colombia, but now in
Yeah,
another level. Yeah.
but Nouf, it's so
So
important.
it
Education
is.
doesn't stop at any age. I mean, I did a master's. I'm a lot older than you. I did a master's over 10 years ago, and I'd had a family. I'd had my children, and didn't know what to do next. So I went back to college, and it was the best thing I ever did. And it opens doors. It's wonderful to do that.
You did what I did next.
I did what I
So
did next. Exactly.
yes.
Actually,
Yeah.
what I did next came out of all that
Okay.
because by
Amazing.
going back to college, I decided, okay, well, what's after that? And then this
Yeah.
came.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I searched one of my friends. She was in New York. She was like doing a couple of. She was actually working in New York, and she wanted to do her masters as well. She did her internship in New York and wanted to
Mm,
continue doing her masters. And she convinced me. She was like, "Why don't you come?" Like, interesting. My mother, she comes from a conservative family. She was a bit
nervous.
nervous of
Yeah.
me going, but my father is very cool, and he was like, "No, go for it, and go to New York and search what are the good schools over
How
there."
old were you at this point?
23, 4,
Okay, so not
23.
not too young.
Once
Yeah,
it,
you knew
yeah.
what you wanted. Yeah.
So when you are a Saudi student and you want the scholarship, so I
Yes,
went without having a scholarship. So you send to every university in the US until you get acceptance.
that's
And
right.
then you do the transfer. So I sent to every design and art school, like the very best ones in
Hmm.
each region. Um, and I got accepted in New York in Parsons. Um, but onto the spring semester.
A later time that you
A
wanted. Yeah.
later time. My father really wanted me to do fall. He said,
Yes.
it's either you come back to Saudi because you've been living in New York for 8 months, spending my money. So you need to study.
You need to make it worthwhile. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one of the universities that I really liked, in so many reasons, is because it's located in downtown.
Mhm.
That's number one, which is the Academy of Art University in San Francisco. And San Francisco, when I searched about it, it's very similar in terms of architecture. The diversity of international people that lives there is similar to New York. And
Mhm.
that's what I liked about it. So I was like, why not? And
Yeah,
if I didn't like it, I can go back to the semester, to the spring semester that I got accepted
that's
in
right.
Parsons, and go back to Parsons.
You had already a sure thing waiting for you. Yeah.
Exactly. I started. I love the campus. So their campuses are inside churches, inside garages,
It's
inside. So
wonderful.
it's different.
Yeah.
And I never saw something like that. So basically, the owner of the university, he's a real estater. So he bought all the locations in San Francisco, most of the
Amazing.
locations. And he was like, okay, let's do an art university over here.
Oh, wow. San Francisco is so cutting edge, right? It's,
Absolutely.
home to Silicon Valley, but it's always been at the sort of very avant-garde in so many things.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I really loved it. Though my mother, when she came, she's like, a lot of homelessness. No, do not
Yeah,
stay here.
yeah, that's right.
But it was so different in so many ways. There are lots of art galleries, a lot of artists that live there, architects, and the architecture is beautiful. And uh, everyone knows me when I enter to a place and see something beautiful. Literally, Malik, I touch the walls. I touch the the marble flooring, the wood.
But
So
Noof, it's really courageous of you to have done that because, from the Middle East, we're always used to people going to the East Coast. If they go to California, they
Mm.
go to LA.
Los Angeles, yeah.
Yeah, Los Angeles, San Diego, but San Francisco is not a typical destination for someone from our region, from Saudi, and a woman. Did you have any
Yeah.
friends when you went, or did you just go on your own?
I went on my own.
Wow,
But of
that's
course
really something.
I made amazing friends. And one of my best friend is I met her over there, but she used to study with me in Sultan, but she was a ghost to me. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah, you
even
didn't know her.
realize that she was with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know her. But in San Francisco we were together. We encouraged each other, and we studied the same um subject, which is masters in fine arts in interior architecture.
So when you finished your course, did you go back to Riyadh?
Yes, I graduated. And then I told my family I'm not coming back. They were like, no, you need to come back.
It's time. How long had you been away? So 3 years, and then you had a bit of
Three
time in New
years. So
York
I
before?
went end of 2011, and then I came back 2015.
And then what did you do?
I worked in one of the biggest architectural firms in Saudi,
Hmm.
Umraniya. And I did a couple of works with them. I loved it. They were amazing.
What sort of projects were you working on at the time?
I worked on Radisson Blue. I worked on the metro station, because they handled one of the grand metro stations here in Riyadh, the Western metro
Hmm.
station. And then I left them because I was very passionate of opening my own studio and practicing what I like to do mostly. So I opened my own studio, Riwak, me and my friend, and we handled more than 50 projects, residential, commercial, retail. We did a lot of cafes.
And how was that experience? I mean, were you had to deal with contractors? You had to presumably be dealing with running a business is not easy. What were the challenges for you?
Wow, a lot of challenges. First of all, it was only a two-man show, like me and my friend, and then we did the whole thing. We did the contracts. We did so. Of course, we
Yeah,
had a
it's a
lawyer.
lot.
That yes. So, but it was a lot because we did not have a big team
Yes.
until we grew like year after year. Um, and we understood the market. We understood where to get the materials from. Do we order this from abroad or from here? Who are the contractors that are good? Where to go or where not to go?
Hmm.
So we had the knowledge
Yeah, yeah.
in like a year or 2 years, and yeah, so continued doing it.
When we come back, Nouf tells me about her next pivot of leading Noor Riyadh and how the different initiatives under Riyadh Art are transforming the city. Welcome back to What I Did Next. I'm Malak Fuad, and this is my conversation with Nouf Al Moneef. I want to just take a pause before we move into the more current work. How did you navigate the social scene? Because I'm assuming that I know we talked about it, you and I, when we had our
Mm,
initial conversation, but I mean,
yeah.
the pressure on young women in the Middle East to marry is very strong. You mentioned your mother is more conservative than your father. Was she pushing a little bit? Was there pressure? How did you navigate that? Because, Saudi's come a long way, but I'm sure that this is still very much at the forefront of people's thinking, right?
Yeah, back then when I came back in 2015 and I worked at one of the architectural companies, it was very difficult for a woman, especially,
Yes,
to work in this kind of environment. Um, like for example, me going to a site visit and wearing the safety boots
yes.
and wearing the safety helmet and going to an architectural site. Um, over it was weird. It was
Yeah,
different.
it wasn't expected of a woman.
It wasn't expected at all. Um, and that's why maybe I said no, let me open my own thing and open my own firm, because I love to draw, I love to
Mm, mm.
visualize
Yes.
uh when I'm alone. So I used to visualize and do everything like in-house and just give it to the contractor or give it to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
people responsible, and they
And they
go
would
ahead
go on
and
with it. Yeah,
implement it. Yes.
yeah.
um but if it was a project that we are handling, because the people that are working in it, uh, they're used to for us to come to the site visits and
Mm,
do the whole inspection and everything. um but yeah, it was difficult at the beginning, but we got used to it.
mm. But going back to the whole social thing, what are
Mm,
things like? I know that, I mean, I have a lot of friends in Jeddah, and I always, in my mind, think of Jeddah as being much more liberal than Riyadh. At least it
mm.
was a long time ago. Maybe today things are more the same.
It
But
was,
how
yeah.
did
Now
you?
now it's the same.
Yeah, how did you navigate that whole, lifestyle, wanting to do things on your own terms? Um, did people just leave you alone, or were you under pressure?
I had support from my family. As you mentioned, my mother is conservative, yes, but when it comes to what I love doing, and this is my passion, and this is
Yeah,
my work, and
yeah.
this is what I do, she was very, 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 very open about it.
Mm, mm,
And she encouraged me to the extreme. She was like, yes, do it. And sometimes when she sees me, our office was in my house.
mhm.
Sometimes when she sees me in the house, she's like, "You don't have work. You need to go
Go
to
back,
site
go back.
visits. Go back to work. You don't have site
Yeah,
visits.
yeah.
So you don't have a cafe to design so no, no. Uh, there were a lot of challenges in terms of us women, but they used to people got used to men doing the architecture and the design here in Saudi. But at the end of the day, they say women, their taste is better than men. So
Definitely.
a lot of clients trusted us
Yes.
in a lot of designs, in our
Yeah.
designs, in our approach, in our concepts, in our design process. So, and that's what's good about it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
The, the clients that we had were really amazing, and they
mm-hmm.
trusted us.
Let's talk a little bit about how you got involved in the what they called the Riyadh season. Tell me a little bit about the beginning of that and what you've been, how it evolved.
So, Riyadh season started maybe back in 2000, after the Vision 2030 was launched. And Vision 2030 was
Yes,
launched back in 2017, along with women driving, along with a lot of entertainment things that happened in
yes,
Saudi. Um, I was involved in a couple of projects. Um, for example, Formula E, Middle East. I was involved in the design process and the architecture and etc. Um, until it was great. People didn't understand it at first, but um, في كان في تقبل يعني people absorbed it.
yes.
People wanted to know what is going to happen. But is there a concert in Formula E? How is there a concert? And the first concert ever that ever happened was in Formula E. So a lot of these entertainment and events happening really changed the way of thinking in a lot of ways. Um, People are now more open, and they want to see more. They are supportive in a lot of things that is happening in Saudi and in Riyadh especially. So alhamdulillah, I'm glad that I was involved since it began
Yes.
and until now,
Because
and
you, I
that's
presume
great.
also, Noof, when you're involved in something from the beginning, you shape it as well as you're going. You're not someone
Absolutely,
that's coming in
absolutely.
at the end and having to implement someone else's ideas. You're there
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
beginning, putting your own
We are
ideas.
just building. Yes, we're building up to what started, and
Exactly.
building it up and make it sustainable throughout the years. That's what's important.
And
Mm.
so tell me about Noor Riyadh. That began early on also. How long has that been going?
So, Noor Riyadh is under the umbrella of a bigger project, which is the Riyadh Art project.
Yes.
Riyadh Art project was launched back in 2019 by King Salman and His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed. The four grand projects are Sports Boulevard, King Salman Park, Green Riyadh, and Riyadh Art.
Mhm.
Riyadh Art's mission is to transform the city into a gallery without walls with public art. And uh, it was launched back in 2019. I mentioned that, and I was involved in it in 2020.
I'm thinking about when a city has a real heart. And when a city has a true center and life of its own, it always has um, an art component, and it's organic, and it comes from people in that city, and that's what you're creating. That's what you're encouraging. You're formulating ways for this to happen every year. You're putting Riyadh on the map on an artistic level that it has never been on the map for this before.
Absolutely never.
Yeah.
And that's what's great, honestly, to identify Riyadh as the new cultural and artistic destination.
Yes,
Not
absolutely.
only Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in general.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and that's and working alongside the Ministry of Culture, MISC, and
Yeah.
all the the events or the institutes that are working under art is really great. Honestly, the exchange that happens between all of us, it's
Yeah.
very
You know
inspiring.
what I notice as well, depending on where you visit around the Middle East, I notice also that foreigners now are less judgmental about us. They come to
Absolutely.
us with much more open eyes and open hearts and open minds, and they're willing to look at us in a different light. أخيرا. قبل كده it
أخيرا.
was always
Mm,
very much looked down. We were always looked down on, and
mm.
we also wanted to be like the West, and I don't think that's happening anymore. I think there's a lot of pride in what's happening in our own region, and people are showcasing the best of what we have.
The cultural exchanges, honestly,
Yes,
that is happening between
yes,
international and local. There are a lot of even artists that came. They want to partner with local artists. They want to do. They want to work together. And there are a lot of stories that happened. They're like, there are artists that are telling me we're coming back to Saudi because we saw this amazing digital artist. He's young, he's Saudi, and we want to work with him.
yeah.
And
It's
that's what
amazing. Yeah.
that's like beauty to my ears when I hear
Of
that,
course.
honestly.
And
Yeah.
I'm always, I think this is exactly, very organic. You can't predict that. And I think
Yeah,
artists also look at the world in a very unique way. So they're going to see things that you would not assume would be interesting for them, but they love it.
absolutely. Especially that the art and design scene is in Saudi is really thriving, like never before. And it's driven by creativity and local talents, and a lot of talents. They are very now passionate. Before, they had their own small
Yes.
corner studio that they didn't have a platform to showcase their
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
With the support of the government, with the support of the different institutions,
Yeah.
with the support of a lot of channels, they are putting themselves out there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and that's really inspiring,
You're
honestly.
amplifying their voice for them, which they didn't have the
Absolutely.
opportunity to do before. And it's exciting.
Absolutely.
When I look at the whole region, I see what you're doing in Riyadh. I see the UAE with so much activity going around the arts. And in Egypt, we've been
Yeah,
doing it for many years, but we've had also a lot more, annual events now to do with arts and bringing people together. So it's very
absolutely.
exciting.
And there are a lot of Saudis that even participated in Egypt, and that's great. Like whenever I see a Saudi artist, their names are going internationally and
Yeah,
globally.
it's
It's just
incredible.
amazing.
More of my conversation with Nouf, where we talk about the changes across the region's art scene and her role in promoting the cultural ecosystem, comes up after this short break. Welcome back. This is my chat with interior architect Nouf Al Moneef. I want to talk about all that you're doing in the context as well of your social media profile. You have a very wonderful social media profile, and it's very curated, but it's very dignified, if I may say it that way, because there's a lot out there which is really not very dignified. And I'm impressed with your account and how you are portraying your work, portraying the kingdom, portraying the festival. You're
Yeah.
using your voice to amplify it on your own personal channels.
Yeah.
And it's very appealing, and you have a big number of followers.
It's not a big number, but
But
yeah,
real followers, a lot of people don't have real followers. So
yeah.
tell me, how did that happen? Did it come organically? How did you become this? What now? I know we discussed the word that we both don't like, which is influencer,
Influence.
but
Yeah.
we influencing or influencers have been, there's been a backlash against them as a term, and I think rightly so, because I think too much of it has been exploited. But tell me about your own journey in this area.
Malik, I believe in the power of talent, uh, especially to transform communities and inspire the world. And Saudi Arabia's architects or designers or artists have so much to offer, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
And I'm committed to helping them share their brilliance with everyone, with the world. And I really want to support them in every aspect and every way. So it started with a lot of these local talents and local architects or designers, and it grew to reposting international even art. Like, for example, people come to me asking me, "We are in Berlin. What exhibition do we go to?" So it's not like I'm a travel guide, but they ask me about what exhibitions do we go to in London or Berlin or Hada.
Yeah.
Even for example, our artistic director, she's also a close friend. Sometimes I ask her. She's sometimes posts the same stuff that I post as well. I sometimes ask her, "Listen, I'm going to Istanbul. Where to go to Istanbul?" She gives me like a list of exhibitions. So that's how we support each other and support um, uh, on what's there to share with the world.
Yeah, but what I mean is also that you as a person are, are appealing to people on social media. People are following you, of course, for your work, but also because you are an attractive young woman doing work in Saudi, and you're portraying yourself and your role in a very positive way. And I think that's very appealing. And
Yeah.
people are following you. People are following you who might not necessarily be that interested in the art, but are interested in you. So it's a win-win actually for you, because they're following you, and then you can also educate them on the work.
Absolutely. Honestly, as I mentioned, I just want to share what's um, the talents there. Yani, I want to share what they can offer to the world.
Yeah, yeah.
And what they have, what is happening here in Saudi, and that's that's what I'm using my
Yes.
social channel, Instagram especially. A lot of people are ask me, "Do you have other social channels?" I'm like, "No, I'm using Instagram." Instagram is global. It's
Yeah.
all around the world, and it's easy to use. It's
That's
just
right. And
posting
it's
the
visual,
pictures, and
which is also
it's
your
visual,
area. Yeah.
exactly. And I love doing it, honestly. And there are a lot of people, PR agencies that come to me. They're like, "Do you want us to handle your social channel?" I'm like, "No, I like doing it.
You do it yourself. Yeah. I
Yes,
think
I
it's
like
very
doing it myself."
important. Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things, like, for example, that I scroll and I want to repost, but um, someone handling my no, I do not need that. But
I agree with you,
and
because
I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy looking at these visuals. I enjoy liking whatever artists or designers or fashion designers post on their social media. So yeah.
so I want to end our interview with something that we've started doing recently, which we call the lightning round. It's a really fun,
Okay.
very quick segment. I'm going to
Yeah.
say some things to you, and you tell me which you prefer.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, red carpet glam or sweatpants on the sofa?
Red carpet glam.
I knew you'd say that.
Mm.
Teamwork or individual pursuits?
Teamwork.
Desert, sea, or mountain?
Are these three options,
3,
or
desert or the sea or the ocean or a mountain?
sea, ocean?
Okay. If you had to choose another profession, what would you do?
Do I have options?
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean,
What would I do? Fashion.
fashion. But I mean, in a way, you're kind of in that. Kind of.
Kind of.
But would you design or would you be more on the business
I would
side?
design.
You would
I
design.
would design.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite activity?
My favorite activity. Um, activity. Maybe I like drawing. I told you.
What do you draw?
Mostly interiors or product
you are
design.
doing that. Yeah. You don't
Yeah.
draw landscapes or you're not artistic in that way.
No. I visualize, for example, a piece of furniture and I just draw it. Actually, today in the morning, I was doing a drawing on my
Okay.
iPad. So yeah, I like doing that.
What's your least favorite activity?
Least favorite activity?
For me, my
Let me
least
think.
favorite activity is waking up my son in the morning and dragging him out of bed. It's every
Okay,
day.
waking
It's
up in the
very hard.
waking up in the morning.
Waking up in the
My
morning.
least
Okay.
figure.
You like to sleep
But
in.
I posted something earlier, maybe a few days ago, and everyone was like, "No, yes, that's so you. Oh my God, it's
Which was what?
100% you." Yeah, this is it. What is your hidden talent?
Yeah.
So 6 a.m. sleeping. This is the picture, sleeping, and 6:10. I'm
You're
wide
up and
awake,
ready and you're ready to go.
up and ready, like literally after 10 minutes.
I can't do that at
So
all. I can't do that.
yeah.
It takes me a while to get.
It's my least favorite activity, but I have to do it.
But you have to do it. Yeah.
I have to do it. Yes.
So the last two questions are not like statements. I want you to finish the sentence. I'm going to begin it and you finish it. I have a hard time.
A hard time doing. Oh my God. Having time for myself.
Do you go do you go to the gym? Do you have any time you go swimming? Do you?
Yeah. The gym is different. I need
Okay.
to go to the gym every day.
You go
If
every
I
day.
didn't go every day, every single day. I used to go at 7 a.m. and then I'm like, no, you're not superwoman. So I changed my schedule. But gym is every day. If I didn't go to the gym, I will not be productive.
And what does it make
And
you do? Does it clear your mind? Does it give you energy?
it gives me energy.
Yeah. Do you do it before
Yeah.
work? Maybe not at 7, but a bit later?
During work, so during my break.
Ah, interesting. You take a break and go to the gym.
Yes.
Okay,
I do not go
yeah.
to a restaurant or eat
So it
lunch.
gives you
I go to the
energy
gym and
for
then,
the afternoon.
yes.
Ah, very interesting. Okay.
I used to have naps. I used to have siestas. Not
Yeah.
anymore.
Not
because
anymore.
This ruins the whole day.
It does ruin the whole day.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
people who
so
take naps and I don't know how they do it. Yeah.
No.
My last question or the last statement, you'll finish the sentence. I get joy from.
I get joy from family, friends and family. I also a success.
Good. Very nice, Nouf.
Success.
That was so lovely.
Yeah.
That was such a lovely interview.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I enjoyed that very, very much.
But the other day, someone asked me, "What are you looking forward to, like in the future or Ramadan?" Or I told them it's just endless conversations, and today it was an endless conversation.
Yeah.
And thank you so
actually,
much for that.
I always think of Ramadan as a good period for that. Always with people and friends
Absolutely.
and conversation, right? Yeah.
Yes, just conversations.
Yeah.
And really random ones. Like a lot of questions been asked
It's
like
true.
by the family. Like
It's true.
During Futur, my brother asks me like a very random question.
Yeah.
And it becomes an endless conversation.
That was my conversation with Nouf Al Moneef. Next week, I talk to Nouf about Noor Riyadh's focus on light as a medium and what it takes to curate each year's festival. In a couple of weeks' time, we'll have our next encore episode, and it'll feature the show's very first guest, entrepreneur and investor Ahmed Elfi. If you're not yet a member, now is your chance to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on our website. You get a free trial, and it'll unlock all of our bonus episodes as well. Thank you for joining me today. You've been listening to What I Did Next from A&T Media. I'm Malak Fuad, and the show is produced by Chirag Desai. Hope to see you again next week.